fifth topic is basically typically the big topic that we're going to discuss even further.
And we
Are
say
you guys sure you want mine?
we want to.
Are
Yeah.
you ready?
We saved
ready?
the last for the best. I mean,
Best for last.
The best for last.
It's the biggest debate. Stable coins.
Oh my God.
This is not the best debate out here.
I know.
All
Team
right.
crypto over here. Let's go.
Hold up. Hey, I'm neutral. Remember.
Neutral too.
Everything, I guess.
Let's go.
All right. Binance Luna investment was worth 1.6 billion. Now it's less than 3,000, and the CEO is moving to protect his users. Basically, they're basically doing the Federal Reserve type of dealio, and they just issued more funds, so issued more coins. And so a little bit of background for our users. Last week. It'll be yesterday because our video is going to upload today.
You already know.
It's.
Can you repeat that? How much was it worth, and how much is it worth now?
1.6 billion. 1.6 billion, and now it's less than 3,000.
Oh my goodness.
Now, before we go further, a little background if folks are not really into crypto or whatever. So there's two stable coins. Can both of you name them without going to Google?
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Bitcoin's not one. It's
Dogecoin.
No, it's USDT. Some with a T.
Yeah. So I didn't know this, and I'll just be honest. There's two stable coins out there. It's Terra USD, which is UST. This is what the topic, the article is saying, and then Tether, right? So the difference between those two, the biggest one that I could see is that Tether is very, very collateralized. It's fully reserved, and it's an actual legitimate stable coin. Like its
what do you mean
drop,
by legitimate? What do you mean by legitimate? Just, for people who are not into crypto.
This is controversial, by the way, because Tether
this
is not looking like that either.
Oh, I agree.
Oh, I don't know.
It goes both ways. It goes both ways.
No, because
depends on who you talk to.
If that Tether publishes their transparency site. Oh shit, 20 minutes. All right, this is a good segue though. It has a transparency site where all the reserves are literally shown there, right? It's hosted on the Ethereum and Bitcoin blockchain, and it follows other fiats. So it's technically not decentralized, but at the same time, it's getting there. Its biggest drop is 5 cents, but now it's still $1. So $1 of Tether is equivalent to $1. Whereas Terra USD is very algorithm heavy. It uses yield farming to other cryptocurrency, and yield farming is basically lending your funds to other businesses via contracts in return for your services you earn in that form of crypto. So it's basically like, I'm going to give you my Atom dollar, and you host me in the Matthews dollar, and then Matthews says to B, I'm going to do this for you too. So basically kind of like build a network of cryptocurrency. And this is just a beginner level explanation, right? So it uses how they would describe a supply and demand forces and Luna's ability to absorb price volatility. And a lot of the news are covering the fact that Terra USD just basically goes from $1 to like less than 50 cents. I forgot what it is now, but it's very less. So essentially it lost its peg to the US dollar because it was over leveraged. And so the reasons why I want to bring this up is because a lot of the anti-crypto are saying, this is what happened, yada, yada, without seeing the both sides of things. And then you have the pro cryptos that are just like, oh, well, what do you expect? Like, this is a new thing, so there's a lot of conflicting opinions. So the purpose of this podcast is to give you all sides of news. I'm just gonna leave it there. And who wants to go next?
Take it, Matthews.
I am not gonna really take opinion because this is not a hard asset. This is very it's speculative at best from my vantage point, since I don't have any dog in this fight, especially in the crypto fight. So I'm gonna pass it, but I'm just gonna say this is speculative at best.
Which one?
Um,
The whole thing,
the whole
or
thing, the whole thing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's
See?
fair. That's fair. But you know what I'm
yeah.
gonna say.
I
I
don't
really
like to
think,
generalize, so
yeah,
I would disagree.
for me, I feel like the investors of Terra, they're seeing a lot of downfall right now, as what Adam has said. But right now they're trying to look at build a lot of liquidity
Liquidity. Yeah.
liquidity right now to kind of cover their losses. But Tether, there are some issues with Tether because sometimes it's not as compatible to the blockchains. The reasons why is because sometimes there are some limitations to it. So it's not really, is it truly a stable coin? Because is it really backed by the USD or not? You know, like all
Other
those
fiats.
other fiats. So there could be on the papers, it looks amazing, right? But then in the background, it could be something, it could be a scam with them selling you a product, but it's not really what it is.
But do you want to take a chance on a product that could be something when you don't really have a recourse for your for what you're purchasing? There's no
So
I I
I'm
can
taking
I
my.
can
Go
I
ahead,
take
go ahead.
this on quick?
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
I personally think cryptocurrency is like a startup. It's not an opportunity for people to get into to private markets, because when you try and get into the private market, you don't know until it gets public, and then you sell off your asset to get liquidity, right? Cryptocurrency kind of gives you that option. That's why it's there. That's how I always look at cryptocurrency. Not really a scam. It's a thing that you need to kind of focus on, learn, understand the technology to invest into it. It's not. Don't think about like Adam and I've been saying on the whole podcast the whole time. It's not a true fiat, really. So it's think about like a technology. Really look at it in that perspective, like NFTs or such like that. But there's scams in NFTs too. But but yeah, I really think
So
that's my point of view.
That's
I'm
you're just
I'm
basically
taking
saying
the
This is the methodology of it, that it should be viewed as this instead of
that
X.
yeah.
Yeah.
This
I
goes back to the topic we discussed earlier. Gensler trying to decide how should we
Yep.
categorize it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then that goes into the category of, hey, should the existing law, was it that law that Kinsler's trying to use to get to, is it the Henry law?
not quite sure.
I
Go back
forgot
to the
what
article,
what law is, but
but
go ahead,
the,
Adam. I
the
stole your
point
thunder.
Take
of
off your
this,
moderator hat,
I'm
Adam.
taking the
took off.
moderator hat,
Okay.
right? So essentially, the reasons why I'm sharing this article is because it's a drive to learn. It's a drive to know the type of investment you're going into. Specifically, the fact is, I didn't absolutely have no fucking idea what the fuck these two stablecoins are. And it took me literally 10, 15 minutes on a Google search. And you could find basically like all this, like the fact that Tether has the transparency stuff, spot on. But I'm going to take my opinion hat on and say it's kind of hilarious that the purpose of the Terra USD was supposed to be a decentralized currency, and when it's fully decentralized, it just collapsed. and then the only reasons why like Tether is working is because it's still connected to the overarching market, and the reason why I find that hilarious is because you cannot escape the financial system. Like you can try, it's a thing. There's a called a black market, right? But in reality, it's very hard, right? It's so encompassing, and that's the whole purpose of the economy. It's the aggregate, not you're doing your own thing. So why should we join you? You know. So I think a lot of people mistake that portion of Bitcoin as more like a culture and more like a cult type of dealio. but in reality, like they're trying to do something, and that is decentralizing the financial industry, which is a good thing, right? I can't really take more opinions.
Why is that a good thing?
It's because it's stability, right?
Uh,
And I think
I mean,
a lot of
It builds a
Well,
better product at the end of the day.
yes, yeah.
I mean, I think the whole assumption that goes into that actually has to be questioned. Why is that a good thing to decentralize a financial system? Why don't you? I'm not just saying you, like as a consumer, why aren't you satisfied with an institution that is regulated and centralized, where there's a recourse and for your assets, and there's a legal backing for a fiat that you're using?
It's because the fact is inequality. That's the biggest thing in my top of my mind when
Well,
you answer that question. Because when you go for centralized, you're aggregating wealth, right? And decentralized, to me, it's more like, like you have the opportunity to shake up the market. And
I mean, do we have the data to support that statement that you're making, that it helps reduce inequality?
no, because
Okay.
it is new.
It's
It
Well,
is
it's
new.
starting.
Well, if you don't
It
have the
is
numbers to
new.
back up your argument, I'm not saying you, like, I'm just saying the proponents of that argument. If you don't have the data to back up your argument that has worked so far, is it really supportable? I go by the Warren Buffett rule. What he said, I believe he said, if I can pull up the quote, gosh,
Don't diversify. That's what he meant.
no, not that. he
It's-
said, I wouldn't
said that
buy
too, though.
all the Bitcoin in the world for $25 because it does not produce anything. That's true. If the business doesn't produce anything, how much is it really valuable?
Hey, let me cut you
but
off
it
this one.
does.
Let me
It
cut this one.
does.
Warren Buffett's not going to get his revenue because it's still in the early ages. He's 98 or high 90s years
He
old.
is upper
He's
80s.
getting there, right?
Yeah.
What's working for him is working for him. It's perfect. It could be like the .com crash, right? But we don't know.
Yeah.
He can't. He says it himself.
But what you're
It's a
saying,
risk that he cannot take.
yeah, what you're saying sounds like a book I read a while back. This time is different, but that's
So
not true. It's never
No.
different.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
Okay, may I just? I'll just pause the whole thing, right?
I'm just
Because
trying to
No.
argue the
no,
older
it's
person's point
it's
of
gonna
view.
address both of you guys' thing, right?
Okay.
The fact is,
Okay.
people are putting money in it. It does produce something, because the
What
fact
is it producing?
wealth.
Demand and wealth.
No,
Demand and wealth. That's what's producing.
demand of wealth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't it just basically assuming that the person who's buying after you will probably pay more? That's what you're assuming when you're buying it, isn't it?
No.
That's basically the whole economy system. It's a zero-sum game.
Because you produce something. If you have like a cake factory, you produce cake, you hope people buy it, and then you
It's a process of crypto is producing something, because you're creating a chain of ledger that basically tracks a lot of the transactions, a lot of the cash movements. It's a lot of businesses. Well, I don't say businesses. My part of the industry in this realm, right? It's there is value to it, right? Whether if it's a zero sum value, or whether if it's a business starting out, and like it,
I
hands
still
down,
I have yet
it does create
to.
value.
That's the thing. What value?
Adam. No, not Adam. Matthews. Think about
Yes.
it like this.
Like
The archaic.
I'm telling
version-
you the value.
I'm telling you, Matthews.
No, you're not. You
think
just
like
say
this.
creates
Yes.
value,
Math-
but you're
Matthews.
not describing what value.
Matthews.
Okay.
Think
go ahead.
like
Money,
this.
profit.
Think like this, right?
It's a
If
zero-sum
you-
That's
game.
not an
Think like this.
explanation, Adam.
Yes,
Matt-
it is.
No, it's
Zero
not.
sum game.
Okay.
Matthew.
Yeah.
Thinking like this, okay. The financial markets right now, their systems are very archaic. A lot of red tape everywhere, right? You know how we'll start making better product out there is to eliminate that red tape. And that rate tape right
No,
now
no,
is
no,
country
no,
per
no.
country per country. You know, if you're a business and you went to different markets in different parts of the world, you want to
Yeah.
be it's decentralized, so you can get to different markets. It helps companies. Google, if this gets passed, all the tech companies they're going through this quick. Financial markets aren't going through this quick too, because they can get to all parts of the market easier with the overhand reach. This is the Adam's hand, really work out
Adam
as play.
Smith.
Yes, Adam Smith's play, really. This will overreach and globalization will be bigger. This will help the world, really.
It's the fact that like the money isn't tied to the federal government. It's not tied to a country's. It's something outside of it. And the value that it's creating is the fact that
The thing
it's
is,
giving people actual money because people are putting it down. The economy is a zero-sum game. Agree or disagree? One person's
100%.
winning, the other person's losing. Agree or
Capitalism
disagree?
right there. It's
If
capitalism.
if you don't agree with that statement, then fundamentally we're never gonna reach a conclusion.
I think that's a very nihilistic view of the economy, unfortunately. But let's
How
agree
do you
to
calculate
disagree.
GDP?
GDP?
How do you
It's
calculate
just
GDP?
it's just the aggregate production of what's made in the country,
And consumption and government
Consumption.
spending
Mhm.
right?
and the net export subtracted by imports.
Mhm.
Okay, about that.
That's part of the equation.
Okay, good. I'm glad you clarified you explained the equation, but I'm just saying, if your whole argument is that it will produce something, and you hope it produces something, but it's actually not producing something, I don't know if I can buy into it. Maybe it's just me, but I like.
I'll tell you
Ma-
this. I'll tell you this.
It's actually
From
not
an
me.
insider
Okay.
that I have,
Okay.
from a high school insider that I have,
Mhm.
that we all know. All right, I'll name it after the call.
Okay.
I know who it is.
Okay.
He
go
is
ahead.
coding things for his company right now. He's creating blockchains. You know where that blockchain's coming from?
Mhm.
Open source from Bitcoin. They're already building it.
It's like
It's out there.
my view on valuation, like the Buffett, not Buffett, but what's his face? Buffett's teacher. Graham's valuation
yeah.
model is perfect for hard assets. But when it comes to digital assets, cash is king. So if CoinDesk has $1 trillion in currency that they're just sitting on and or investing on, that has value. To me, that whole thing, like regardless of where it's from, it has value. Like you cannot ignore cash, period.
That's why Apple is one of the best companies out there right now. They have the most cash out there. They're leveraging
Yeah.
their debt to get more cash.
Apple
of
Credit,
3%.
Apple Card.
Yes.
They're recruiting their own
Yes.
sales.
Yes. And then with the buybacks with this,
It-
that's the reason why they're doing so well.
yeah, it's insane, and a lot of people have realized it's not new. First, it's not new. Second is we can't ignore it, because if you
No,
ignore it and if you diminish it, then you're missing out on it.
I'm not ignoring it, but I think there is a huge assumption that the existing structure, which is the assets tied to the state, right? Are not going to watch this sitting by. Like there's going to be a regulation eventually if this takes off, or if it's just a
It already
fad and it
has.
fades.
There's already regulations on it.
You're not really capturing the essence of what I'm trying to get at. But what kind of regulation? Go ahead.
He just
Go on.
literally states, oh, what is the first thing that he mentioned?
I tell you this.
I mean, listed.
Like
Like
I have
there's
I have
a
more
crypto
think-
tax.
insider information.
There's
I'll
a
give you
crypto
this.
tax. There's a go ahead, B.
So the SEC, the article that I posted up, right? So that's one of the reasons why they're gonna do more. They have to do more because that demand in the technology is actually there for financial institutions to make, because the code is open sourced. Like it's is gonna be there. Companies like JPM, I have insider information as well. They have their own organization just built for that. It's amazing. They're seeing the future. They're prepping for the future because digital wallets, it's the future. Don't think about like cryptocurrency being like, hey, it's gonna be this replace a dollar. Don't think like that. Think about the technology. It's gonna increase the payment source, payment providers. For example, B2B companies, they still pay each other through wired checks. Checks. That's 80% checks. You know how long those take to transaction? Dude, like 5 to 17 business days. How do you cut that in half? Blockchain.
Settlements.
Real time. Done deal. You don't have to wait for real time transaction. That is key. That's what financial institution wants. More transactions so then they can get more profit.
And the fact that it's transparent, and the fact that it has a unique identifier. That's really the money, where the money is really.
Yeah.
Because it's secure, right? If the blockchain isn't secure, then that's a huge issue. Because
Yeah.
with Ethereum Classic and the actual Ethereum, like somebody did hack into it, right? But the easy, simple solution is they put a fix to it. I forget what it's called, but yeah, it's
Matthew.
I was in your perspective, Matthews, because like from Warren's perspective is that the fact it's so volatile, and this is the also opens a debate for currency. How do you value currency? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm building an algorithm for this, but how do you value currency? And this is the reason why I said that it should be treated as a currency, is because like our valuation of currency today is how the government is able to collect taxes, whereas Bitcoin is going to have to be something else entirely. It has to be a brand new model, and that's probably $1 billion answer. Like if you figure how to value Bitcoin in a proper way, where you can follow, like not only follow the market but also kind of like on that verge of like, yeah, it's going down, oh, it's because my value model is triggering this activity, dude, you're good. Like that's where the money's at.
Let's just say this is this debate will continue, but eventually.
I don't know if it's a debate.
No,
It's always a
Matthews.
discussion.
Think about like
yeah.
it's a technology move. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, and
they're already making it. Wells,
I'm
U.S. Bank. They're all
I'm neutral, right? And the reasons why I'm neutral is because I'm a big Buffett fan, and you're right. Like, currency is only valuable at its face value, right? If the amount of people uses it, but in reality, it's worthless. If I go to Mars and there's an alien colony and I try to give them $1 million, to them they're just paperweights. Oh, congratulations, you can mock up carbon at a very, very low rate. So currency has no value other than its usage. So.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's called
man.
fiat, right? That's why it's called fiat, right? It's just worth as much as the government says it's valuable, and at least in the States.
It's not only government. There's other factors like how many of the dollar has in a reserve. Like how well it's tracked. Like reasons why the dollar is very stable is because of how transparent we are, and Tether sees that, and they're very transparent about like what goes in it, and I think that's the moneymaker. It's if people can trust it, if people can use it. So anyway,
all right, folks, subscribe.
All right, bye everybody.
bye.
Bye.